Oh yeah, I'm going for a record here, folks! By now, a lot of you who have not touched Star Citizen before might have heard some things about it. Some good, some bad, but often we all hear that there's something amazing about it. So today, just like with Elite, I'll see if I can find the 10 things that show that Star Citizen is better. And to make it challenging, I will not mention or draw any comparisons to other games. Sound fair? Well, if you don't think so, I'm sorry, my precious child, but if you need constant comparisons, you'll always be living in a shadow. Also, this will show the smug fanboys that I can be fair too, and not just critique the damn thing at every opportunity. So, starting with the best thing, the absurd amount of crashes and horrible performance. Okay, fine, I'm joking. We begin with one of my personal favorite things, the ship's UI quote-unquote customizability. See, the way ship UI is, at least currently designed, allows you to swap screens out for information that you prefer. Think of it as the multi-monitor setup for your PC, but on a spaceship. The fact that you can have every screen showing the same information perhaps is not the selling point here, but it certainly is fun side note. Swapping out screen position and adjusting information that you prefer in them is something that I really like. Usually you need to mod the games in order to get even the HUD change, but here it's a feature. Now let's see. Yes, the flight model. Now frankly I'm not much of a real-world pilot, so my perception of what is good and fitting for real application is skewed. Still, the button layout for Star Citizen is, at least on the basic controls, rather intuitive. Space is up, control is down, shift is boost, WASD is thrust, and sideways strafing. As with any vehicle controls, it of course takes time to get used to, but my favorite really is the detailing that the flight model has. I've always said that Star Citizen's flight model is what I prefer, and the reason for that is that I do feel the ship's speed and drift a lot. Different little nuances on how the thrust affects your momentum and more. Even in the so-called tethered mode, you don't feel it constantly fighting you.
There is some exemplary flying happening here today. A real treat.
Okay, well perhaps sometimes it's a bit too loose, but the fact that the ships do have this great speed potential and breaking from it often takes a long process still adds a little bit of that Newtonian physics feel. The issue though with the current flight model now and in the past was that the speeds are too great and combat often really just does not work well. Yes, you can set up the speed limiters and whatnot, which is a nice thing, but it's still fine-tuning that needs to happen and speeds reduced. Still, I do like the way the ship's control and how it operates, but it just needs refinement. Nah, Yamix, you told us about 2 things you like, but what about the things that everyone seemed to be attracted to? Yes, the visuals. See, Star Citizen ever since the start has left a massive impact on onlookers with the detailed worlds and impressive graphics. This involves a very high level of detail and textures. Yep, that's a big massive vertex count on this butt! But seriously, even now I need to go and look at things closer in order to start seeing pixels. The sheer level of detail that has been put on everything is impressive. And I'm not talking about ships alone. See, usually you have a niche game with a niche focal point. Developers end up using most of their development time focusing on that niche aspect, while leaving the level design and other things to rot. This was actually very common with FPS games in late 2000s. Still, Star Citizen artists have done an astounding work on models, which indeed you can see everywhere, be that in videos or by testing it yourself. And today in Jackass, I pretend to fall down the stairs while I'm prone. Woo! Indeed, Star Citizen has been compared to death with other games, but the fact is that they do want to bring the highest level of detail with this project, and for that I do have respect for it, even now. Okay, here's another personal thing. Yes, I know you want to know probably about more important things, but trust me, this is important. So, within Star Citizen, you have currently one system with several planets and moons. The space, as you know, is vast, and to travel from one planet to another and whatnot else usually takes a lot of time, and some sort of a mechanism that either teleports you there or allows you to move faster. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. I'm the best around, and nobody's gonna try and keep me down. Well, for Citizen of Stars, it refers to the latter option. get propelled forward at an incredible speed. Usually to break up this sort of a boring gameplay or travel time, many games tend to put in some sort of a random event or ways to liven up the portion of the game. Well, that leads to random NPC or player roadblocks or other ways to disrupt it. Star Citizen has this, but only in a roadblock sense of a way. You see, if someone's chasing you, they won't be able to pull you out of the quantum jump, so either they have to set up a roadblock with that one specific ship or simply follow you until you both end up at the destination. This prevents from rather unfair and constant interference from others, making gameplay more manageable and fair while still letting player-to-player or NPC-to-player interactions. But speaking of traveling, it's interesting that Star Citizen not only excels in visuals but does so in a seamless way. I do hate using the stupid industry terms, but it's true. To get from your bed to your ship, there's no loading screen. To get from your ship to space, it's all happening right there, and more so. To get from your starport to another one completely on a different planet, well, that too is done without a single loading screen. Sure, you could say that the quantum jump is a loading screen masquerading as gameplay, but that's the thing, it's really not. Or at least I think it should be. Well, regardless, often games take their sweet time to unload and load new things while you're traveling, which is true in many cases. I mean, tile-based rendering has been a thing since early 2000s, so this should not be surprising. Yet the smoothness at which this is done, frankly, does make my inner programmer curious. Though Star Citizen's rather large capacity and running requirements, like 8 gigs of video memory, for example, may point to the reason why it's possible. Still, it's pretty impressive, though, to get to an unmarked point on the planet for one of these placeholder box missions does get very annoying. Okay, many of you who have not tested alpha version of the Star Citizen may think, well, it's done. Well, I certainly have that impression the first time I heard about it and looked at some videos, and that was around the version of 2.3. But the truth is, Star Citizen is still in development. Current version as I'm writing the script, wrote the script, was 3.81. Anyways, as the project is being developed, I frankly am surprised to see developers releasing a lot, and I mean a lot, of not only random unpolished videos or streams while they make the game, but actually pretty interesting and well done media pieces. You've got to be shitting me! Truly, Star Citizen not only stands out as a very good-looking alpha for a game, but also a rather public-facing project as well, as every week, more or less, they release more videos than me! The constant updating of info given to us ranges from simple updates to actually deeper discussions or even presentations from different developers. And here's the thing, you can't deny the level of info that is actually released about the project, that actually one could even say that it's enough to confuse people. I sure as hell tend to be sometimes. Still, the point here is that I've not seen a game with this level of dev public-facing media ever, not crowdfunding or released. And if we continue, I did mention the polish that goes into the whole official media. Well, you get a range of well-lit, properly positioned camera shots for even the simplest update videos these days, going as far as to get a full 3D rendered cinematics and trailers and for whatnot else. Be that for a feature, ship, or a JPEG. Promise. Say what you will, even if you're just following the Star Citizen media, you'd be hard-pressed to say that you're bored. That much is true. And now, the absolute best thing about Star Citizen. It has raked in so much money that no other game has, especially in crowdfunding, ever reached. So, it must always be the greatest, bestest thing ever, yes. And none should ever question it. Okay, I'm being facetious. I'm rather surprised that it took me this long to make that joke. Anyways, continuing on then. The fact that Star Citizen has raked in over $300 million American dollars at this time provides CIG with plenty of funds that would be enough to make a game akin to Grand Theft Auto 4 or 5 without any involvement of the investors or those pesky corporate heads who seem to know nothing about games or gaming industry and just wants loot boxes put in like the Clash of Clans garbage. Oh, that shit, I mentioned the game. But anyways, that's not the point anyways. The fact that the only person who CIG is accountable to is, well, no one, not even the fans. And yes, that's true, like it or not, but we, the normal backers, have literally no say what features gets put in or how. And that to some may sound as a bad thing right away, but it's not always the case. The fact that CIG is truly independent, or at least as far as we know, gives them freedom to create whatever they want. See, often artists get stifled due to financial reasons, and it's very rare to see someone go all out and make their vision uncontested. It may crash and burn, or maybe be the greatest thing ever. The future will show, so I guess now we're just left waiting. And speaking of vision, no one can deny that Chris Roberts used to have ambition, and well, from the sounds of PR materials from Star Citizen, even in early days of the project, it sounded like the most ambitious project in gaming ever, which to this day you'd be hard-pressed to find an equal. Indeed, adding super intricate functions to your ships and extreme level of detail that no other person would call necessary is part of this great big vision and ambition that Star Citizen hopes to be. In the past there was John Romero, who wanted to make something amazing too, but we know how that ended. Still, maybe this time with both funding and capable creators, talented artists and new tech, maybe it's possible. Ambition truly is something interesting, and while I may sound snarky, I still think that it's one of the best parts about Star Citizen, to see what can be possible and not listening, maybe even proving wrong to the naysayers like myself. And you know what, I do want to be proven wrong. The industry too needs something like it, so like I said, only time will show. In the end, the last and frankly my favorite point, the level of detail combined with the sense of scale as well as the intricacy of the Star Citizen that is brought to the table. Oh, okay, first, no, Star Citizen is not as thorough in weapons as Escape from Tarkov. No, I'm not talking about quite that level of dedication to one super niche. Oh wait, I did mention a game. Damn it! What I'm talking about is the combination of enough small interaction pieces and the sense of scale that it brings. You see, ships in Star Citizen truly feel big and cool. Not only how they look, because let's be honest, we've seen so many ships and so many things in media and games and whatnot else over the years, so the designs do not really thrill us anymore like they did. But instead, it's the actual fact that you can go on board of a ship, explore its nooks and crannies and interact with different parts of it, so that it's not just a block of model that has no moving parts or meaning beyond the cockpit. For me, the sense of scale comes from pressing a button to lower the back door slowly, taking my time to go through the ship, passing bunk beds and maybe a reactor too, as I come up to the bridge and take my seat. The fact that I can go to a shop and interact with a weapon in my character's hand, the fact that I can change my ship's HUD however I like, and more. These little things, even though you have to use the stupid focus mode, create the sense of intimacy that not many games have done in the past. Oh, and the focus mode. Yeah, I did like it better when you did not need to press an F button to focus and then slowly mouse over the option that you wanted. Just, it's extra work. But even at that, it is indeed the geek in all of us that find this level of detail and intricacy so appealing. So that the project, the Star Citizen, is not only just a pretty looking thing, it actually does have more than that. So there you go. Now, as always, I do welcome any comments, critique, and more if you have, and maybe, hey, you have your own list at hand. So feel free to share it down below, be that mentioning other games or not. It's not like Yamix will pass judgment if you choose the former. But seriously though, if you did enjoy the video, do share it around and all that good stuff. And hey, if you really liked it, perhaps you'd be interested in supporting the work that I do here. So go check out the Patreon and merch store. And maybe, hey, Streamlabs tipping link too. All of that is down below. But as for now, I guess I should go grope some more ships caressing their plump reactors and sweet joysticks.
Oh my god, just look at your own dick.
What the
Okay, well, NPCs are always fun. This is just too funny. Okay.